you're spending like a cash machine.
The coveted Spartan Spotlight. Brief moments in time where we highlight our work, our impact on society, and most of all, the amazing people that shape our culture. Today, we celebrate a project manager that consistently exceeds expectations. Let me just come clean early in this production. It's Blake Paez. Now, I could sit around here and run my mouth about Blake behind his back, or I could set up a Teams call for which he doesn't know the purpose, and we can tell him to his face. Option B, I agree.
Recording has been started for this meeting, Blake.
Okay.
I've conned your ass into a 30-minute session. You, sir, are our next featured person on the Spartan Spotlight, and this recording will be sent out to the entire company. And I brought some notes with me today, so let me work through these notes just a section at a time, and we're going to come back and get some commentary from the great Blake here, so we can understand what was it that inspired these notes. Let's go ahead and jump in. General Superintendent Mr. Sean Patterson exceeds expectations when it comes to completing pistols, has constant communication with clients and crews, solving problems and focusing on the solution without negativity. Always finds a middle ground for both, constantly improving on every aspect of job performance while adapting to a challenging reorg and dealing with me not making any of these tasks easy. He's all in. He's a great guy, as well as a hard worker, and I'm glad he's on our side. Initial response to Mr. Sean Patterson.
I am glad to be dealing with Sean, man. I don't see it that way. Those are kind words. I really appreciate that. The feeling is certainly mutual. I enjoy working with him a lot.
That's awesome, man. Take me back to this comment. He has constant communication with clients and crews solving problems. What is it? What is your strategy when it comes to communication? And it seems like your communication is effective through and through, right? We're talking about internal, external.
No, I'm not sure, man. That's just the way I operate, honestly, Dustin.
Maybe it's your humble nature. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe I need to know. I need confirmation that things are done and check it off the list and move on. So maybe that's what it is.
So listen, there was some messaging in there about adaptability too.
Okay.
What are the things on your job where you do have to be flexible?
You could chop that up several different ways. There's a people side of it. Everyone's different. So learning how to work with others, especially like Sean mentioned there with the reorg. A lot of different faces, new people that we're working with. So there's that. But honestly, I think it ties back to the communication, Dustin. I'm certainly not the most knowledgeable at GSI, far from it. Certainly don't have all the answers. But just having that desire to get the answer and figure it out and not being afraid to ask people, knowing who to ask. I would say that's probably it, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's move on. Who is this Kyle? Who's this Kyle guy? You know any Kyles?
I know one Kyle.
Yes, you do. Kyle Gunther. Here we go. He is clearly awesome, if for no other reason than I drive him completely insane with calls, emails, and texts. He keeps a smile and a positive attitude. Blake is a problem solver, not a complainer. I'm hearing repetitive rhetoric here. He jumped onto a speeding freight train last year with the fastest growing market in GSI. We almost immediately threw him on a difficult tunnel project where GSI had very little experience. Now he's managing a growing team of PMs while still managing the largest project currently going on in the company at $4.9 million that started 3 days into the year. And his last comment, I can keep going if you need more.
That sounds like Kyle. Like Sean, feelings mutual. I certainly drive him crazy with all the calls as well. And then little shout out to Noel on that project when I got back here. He was saving that one for me. So typical
That's
Noel
awesome.
fashion. Appreciate that. Um,
That's what
but
we're.
yeah,
That's what our little side conversation here about everybody working towards common goal and
yeah,
having that shared vision. Noel's one of those guys, right? Hey, if I can chip in and make this whole thing smoother, I'm going to do it. What is it about projects of that scope that are key?
yeah. This one, it's been an interesting one.
They all are.
They all are. This one, I want to say this first off. I mean, we're in the heat of it. We're in the thick of it right here, right now. And we certainly still got a ways before we land this thing. Uh, but we got off to a bit of a shaky start. I think that was for a number of reasons, but certainly a reorg and starting after a holiday didn't help. But what I want to highlight is back to that analogy. It's certainly been a team effort. I mean, I've reached out to Brett and Sean, and we put some goals on the crew, and they just continue to answer the bell. I mean, these guys. I mean, week in and week out, they just it's continued improvement.
Hey, do,
And
hey, do a
so,
little do a little name dropping. I mean, you got the
yeah,
mic here,
yeah, little name drop. I mean, shout out to Joe Fletcher and
Fletch.
Gary and Andrew Robertson, Tim Wall. I mean, shout out to all those guys. Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson's been on that job.
Hey, Wall Senior or Junior, man. You can't be giving out
Yeah,
free
yeah.
cookies here.
Wall Senior, Wall
They're both
Senior.
completely awesome, by the
They
way.
are, they are. But yeah, Chris Johnson, Brett, Stephen Brown. I mean, really the whole group, man. And even Kyle and Jordan and Enan and Emma. I know Emma's no longer with us, but just the whole team. I that part's got me really excited. Is that you just don't feel like you're in it alone. You know what I'm saying? Just that the whole team is contributing, and a project this size that it certainly demands a team effort.
Let's wrap this up. You had mentioned Noel earlier. I want to give mention Noel's name here in the Spartan Spotlight as well.
Okay.
Noel was one of the very first people that made sure I had your name in hand as a prospective Spartan. He echoes
Okay.
all the things that we just mentioned, but he adds one very important piece to this, and I think it's something that GSI people should hear and know about you. Your hair is always perfect. I mean, it's perfect hair, Blake.
Well, I don't know about perfect. It's you know, I'd rather it not look messy. We'll put it that way.
It's damn good hair, and the only critique I have of your work at present is that it may be slightly intimidating to others. I mean, you show up, dude's been in a hard hat for 6.5 hours shooting shotcrete. He takes it off. It's not a comparative analysis that's going to end well. But especially in a time of such transition, thank you from GSI to project manager Blake Paez. You're appreciated, man. It's really cool, and I can't wait to get this out to the people of GSI.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I would just say I appreciate all of the kind words from everybody. I think we need to say that more at GSI. I think everyone is working so hard, and everyone truly cares. I sincerely feel that way. And this is great, man. I think we need to continue to do that, and much appreciated on my end as well.
Plenty more where that came from. Click the icon over here and subscribe to GSI Lifestyle's YouTube channel, or click this bad boy over here and check out the next video on deck.